giving all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakak Kodash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men I learned this truth from. I want to say peace, mercy, and blessings unto all the hopeful elect. The true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, which means He exists, He is to be. The true name of the Son is Yahweh Shai, which means He is the deliverer, right? And we are the Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. We're those people that make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel, the self-proclaimed white people, Caucasians, Europeans. They're the Edomites. According to the Bible, they're the end of the world, all right? The devil, the old serpent, and Satan. And Jacob, which Jacob's name was changed to Israel, is the beginning of it that followed. And we are in the last days of Esau's empire, his kingdom, and it's crumbling before our eyes. It's a very beautiful thing, and there's a lot going on, and it reminds me of the song, it reminds me of the song 12 Days of Christmas, right? But each day, the Most High is handed out with judgment. You know what I'm saying? I was just, just thinking, like, damn, that with all that, it's a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? You got fucking, you got the rampage driver who's supposed to have some type of connections with the Alignments group down there in New Orleans. On top of him, plowing into 30 plus people and killing 15, which they always fabricate the numbers. So I'm just going off what's in the reports. But that's what they're saying. There's also dirty bombs, bombs that they have found, but they didn't go off. But he planned to do a lot more damage than that, and they said he acted alone. So you got that. You got the polar vortex, because we are in the winter months, all right? And it's during this time that a lot of people get sick. You get the flu, you get a cold, you get different type of illnesses. So on top of that, you got the mystery fog, all right? You got another police, you had another active shooter which police are responding to down there in Arcady on the mall in Lafayette, Louisiana. So that's also in Louisiana, all right? You got the mass shooting in Queens, all right? You had train halted, all right? Trains halted. FBI involved explosive device found on train car in Treasure Valley, and this is in Payette, Idaho. Okay, so yeah, man, how about this? There's a lot going on. So I'm going to start with this article right here. This is from apnews.com. FBI says driver in New Orleans rampage acted alone and was 100% inspired by Islamic State group. It says the Army veteran who drove a pickup truck into a crowd of New Year's revelers in New Orleans acted alone, the FBI said Thursday, reversing its position from a day earlier that he likely worked with others in a deadly attack that officials said was inspired by the Islamic State group. The FBI also revealed that the driver, Shamsuddin Jabbar, an American citizen from Texas, posted 5 videos on his Facebook account in the hours before the attack, in which he proclaimed his support for the militant group and previewed the violence that he would soon unleash in the famed French Quarter district. This was an act of terrorism. It was a premeditated and evil act, said Christopher Raya, the Deputy Assistant Director of the FBI's Counterterrorism Division, calling Jabbar 100% inspired by the Islamic State. The attack along Bourbon Street killed 14 revelers, along with Jabbar, 42, who was fatally shot in a firefight with police after steering a speeding truck around a barricade and plowing into the crowd. About 30 people were injured. So this year is literally starting with a bang. It started with sorrows. It started with miseries and evils, in these cities, all right? It was the deadliest IS-inspired assault on the U.S. soil in years, laying bare what federal officials have warned is a resurgent international terrorism threat. It also comes as the FBI and other agencies brace for dramatic leadership upheaval and likely policy changes after President-elect Donald Trump's administration takes office. It says Rare stressed that there was no indication of a connection between the New Orleans attack and the explosion Wednesday of a Tesla Cybertruck filled with explosives outside Trump's Las Vegas hotel. The person inside that truck, a decorated U.S. Army Green Beret, shot himself in the head just before detonations, Army authorities said. The FBI continued to hunt for clues about Jabbar, but said that a day into its investigation, it was confident it was not aided by anyone else in the attack. It was killed an 18-year-old aspiring nurse, single mother, a father of two, and a former Princeton University football star, among others. The attack plans also included the placement of crude bombs in the neighborhood in an apparent attempt to cause more carnage, officials said. Two improvised explosive devices left in coolers several blocks apart were rendered safe at the scene. Other devices were determined to be non-functional. Officials reviewed surveillance video showing people standing near one of the coolers, but concluded that they were not connected in any way with the attack, though investigators still want to speak with them, as witnesses said. Investigators were also trying to understand more about Jabbar's path to radicalization when they culminated with him picking up a rented truck in Houston on December 30th and driving it to New Orleans the following night. The FBI recovered a black Islamic State flag from his rented pickup and reviewed 5 videos posted on Facebook, including one in which he said he originally planned to harm his family and friends, but was concerned that news headlines would not focus on the war between the believers and the disbelievers, Saria said. Jabbar also stated that he joined IS before last summer, and he provided a last will and testament, the FBI said. So there's a lot going on. So you got that in Louisiana. You got the mall shooting that happened in New Orleans. The guy drove down from Texas, plowed into people. They're out there reveling. Look up the definition of reveling. It says a person who is enjoying themselves in a lively and noisy way. So that's what you do at a party, at an event, at a parade. That's what you do on New Year's. That's what you do at clubs, you know. So that's judgment. And this also happened at a damn club. This is from ABC7NY.com. 10 wounded in shooting outside Queens nightclub. No arrests. Jamaica, Queens. An active investigation is underway Thursday as police work to track down 3 to 4 men who shot at a crowd of people in Queens, leaving 10 teenagers injured. It happened outside the Al-Mazura nightclub on 144th Place. That's the Spirit. Around 11:30 p.m. A private event was taking place at the space with about 90 people inside when bullets started flying. What the apostles and elders of Great Millstone been saying through the Spirit and Poverty Haba Shem Shai, stay away from nightclubs. Now it's not the time to be, avoid large crowds, You got planes dropping out the sky. This is updated 30 minutes ago. It's from Los Angeles Times. Investigators probe cause of Fullerton plane crash that killed 2 and injured 19. 2 people aboard a small plane were killed when the aircraft crashed into a commercial warehouse near Fullerton Municipal Airport, bursting into flames and injuring 19 working in the facility, officials said. Security camera footage captured a fireball exploding Thursday afternoon when the plane hit the roof of the warehouse, sending thick clouds of dark smoke and bright orange flames in the sky. So that's judgment. You got planes dropping out the sky. You got people getting, ran over while they were reveling. People trying to go out to nightclub. People dumping in the nightclub. Motherfuckers scattering like rats and roaches when the lights come on, man. Okay? and man, and it's only going to get worse. And we're only 3 days in to the year, right? This is the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city and the Lord had not done it? Question mark. Shall there be evil in a city and Yahweh Shem Yahushua had not done it, right? Because that's a great question. Because people, whenever things like this happen, people pose a question of why would God allow this? Or they might even dare say, well, if God is real, why would he allow these people to die? This is, the Lord does all of these things, man. All of these are judgments. They play out on the earth. They come from Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This is Isaiah 45, verse 7. The one who the world ignorantly calls God, and Jehovah, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, Yahushua. Okay, those are not the correct names. Isaiah 45 and 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, do all these things. So Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai is doing all these things, man. And with these things happening through the Spirit, you're going to have a lot more people coming up to the different churches that are scattered out Babylon the Great. You know, and people are going to inquire. People are going to want to ask. You're going to have a lot more new believers, man. New fruit. Okay. So we're going to have to go into the basics and break these things down. But what's happening is all according to the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and it marks the end of an empire, the end of the world. All right. This is Psalms 55 and verse 9. Destroy, O Lord, and divide their tongues. Destroy Esau, divide their tongues. The Most High is making their tongues fall upon themselves. Things are being revealed. For I have seen violence and strife in the city. And that's all you see. Crime is sky high. People are in poverty, homelessness, all-time high. Drug abuse, alcoholism, all-time high. All right, DWIs, OUIs, all-time high. Home invasions, thefts, all right? This violence, man. Day and night, they go about it upon the walls, all right? The city that never sleeps. Mischief also and sorrow are in the midst of it. That's all that's out there, you know? People think they're going to have, and that's a hell of an omen to start the year, along with the lightning strikes in D.C. You can't forget about that, you know? Wickedness is in the midst thereof. Deceit and guile depart not from her streets. Okay, and that's the main tool of Esau, because a lot of these are psyops, psychological operations to influence your views, opinions, thoughts, emotions. Okay, this is how the devil gets down. Okay, and these things are going to increase. This is from ZeroHedge.com. Former CIA officer warns 1,000 Al-Qaeda fighters in U.S. for next homeland attack. In a recent discussion on the Sean Ryan Show, former CIA talking officer Sarah Adams warned of a potentially devastating attack planned by Al-Qaeda terrorists on Babylonian soil. The interview offers significant insights into what may be unfolding as Al-Qaeda sleeper cells could be activating in the wake of the New Orleans terrorist attack. And you know, apostles and elders been saying this for years, decades, and brothers been saying this for years, decades. Now we're in the days where it's happening. And a possible vehicle-borne improvised explosive device in the rear of a rented Tesla Cybertruck that exploded outside Trump's hotel in Las Vegas just hours later. So you had that attack. Later you had the explosion outside Trump Tower in Vegas. So, right? So they're being activated on this soil throughout different parts of America. All right? Ryan asks Adams, I just want to clarify you. You're 100% certain that there are 1,000 plus Al-Qaeda trained fighters within the U.S. borders? Adams, currently a global threat advisor with extensive experience in Middle Eastern affairs, responded, well, Al-Qaeda says they trained and deployed 1,000 for this attack. First off, I think there are more than 1,000 Al-Qaeda members in the U.S., all right? But for the homeland attack, that number is based on what Al-Qaeda is saying, so they could exaggerate it. However, they did have about 1,400 in the Hamas attack, so the number's not off from what they did in the first round of attacks. All right? And this is fair use. You know, I'm not using this for any monetary gain, things of that nature. This is according to fair use. This is from X, formerly known as Twitter. frightening information to hear. Former CIA targeting officer Sarah Adams is warning of an IRGC U.S. homeland attack in retaliation for Soleimani. She says 1,000 or more T's may already be here and discusses the invisible bee, undetectable to magnet meters. All right. It's an 8-minute video. I'm not going to play all of
100%
it.
certain that there are 1,000 plus Al Qaeda trained fighters within the United States borders.
Well, Al Qaeda says they trained and deployed 1,000 for this attack. First off, I think there's more than 1,000 Al Qaeda members in the United States. But for the homeland attack, that number is based on what Al Qaeda is saying. So they could exaggerate it. However, they did have about 1,400 in the Hamas attack. So the number is not off from what they did in the first round of attacks.
How old is this information?
I mean, it's ongoing. So the training's already done, right? So all the training info is now old because they trained all the homeland attackers, if that makes sense. So like next week, you're not going to get info of a homeland attacker probably at a terrorist camp because it's already done. So all this has been in the last year.
So it's been over a year. It's been a year.
Because this was a continuation, so they planned October 7th
All right, so I'll just play a minute of it. Like I said, it's an 8-minute video. You can go back
first,
and
and then
check
they
this
rolled
out.
into planning.
All right, on Twitter. All right, or you can look up this article on Zero Hedge. All right, and a lot of people are reposting this video. But yeah, man, you know, shit is going down. This is from End Time Headlines. Because along with the T attacks, you got to remember that we are in the winter months, and with it being the winter months, that's when a lot of people get sick. They get the cold, they get the flu, So on top of people getting illnesses, there's mystery fog causing illnesses, man. All right, so I'm just going to check this out. This says from Newsweek.com. Polar vortex map shows how far temperatures could plunge in each state. So you can expect temperatures to really drop. All right. It says bitter temperatures are forecast to hit swaths of the U.S. this weekend as a polar vortex, the area of cold air that circulates around the Arctic, expands, with the National Weather Service predicting that the cold snap could last well into January. And that's usually the coldest months. January, February, mainly February is usually fucking bitter, cold weather. But mainly January and February is cold, especially where we're in at. We're in upstate New York. And of course, there's places that's colder, man. Chicago, Alaska. There's a lot of places that are far more colder. So you can imagine how low temperatures are going to get, man. We can't forget about 2 years ago on Christmas, motherfuckers were freezing to death in Buffalo, New York on Christmas. And that's like swept under the rug. But they were literally finding bodies on the street of people that froze to death, right? Sub-freezing temperatures are expected to affect the majority of Babylonians throughout Saturday and into the following week, particularly in the Midwest, heartlands, and the northeastern regions. Strong winds, sleet, ice, and heavy snow are also expected in some areas, including some southern states later in the weekend, which could lead to perilous conditions, and we are in perilous times. That's also written in Peters. The wintry weather poses a risk to travel conditions and can disrupt other aspects of daily life, such as prompting school closures. Okay, certain groups such as young infants and senior citizens also face a higher health risk from plunging temperatures. Okay. Temperature forecast maps from multiple sources show freezing conditions throughout the weekend. According to NWS predictions, the coldest temperatures will be experienced across North Dakota, Minnesota, Montana, where there could be cold snaps up to -4 degrees Fahrenheit in some areas on Friday, particularly along the U.S.-Canada border. The wind chills as cold as -29 degrees. That's crazy. All right? This is about to get crazy out here. It says maps by pivotal weather show that temperatures could drop as low as negative 21 degrees in North Dakota on Saturday. And that reminds me of that scripture, you know, I believe that's Psalms 83. This is Psalms 83, verse 15. It says, so persecute them with thy tempest and make them afraid with thy storm. And that's what these, extreme bitter polar vortexes are. Those are storms from Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay? I believe there's one in Code, there's one in Job that speaks about this is the book of Job. Okay, this is Psalms. This is Psalms 147:17. It says, he casteth forth his ice like morsels. Who can stand before his cold? And so this cold is going to destroy a lot of people. All right. Then on top of that, you got the diseases. All right. All of these things are the birth pains. And these evils are only going to increase. All right. This is from 2nd Ezra 14. I'm reading from the Good News translation. 2nd Ezra 14 and verse 13 says, so set your house in order. Warn your people, comfort those who are humble, and teach those who are wise. So your house, your body is the house of your spirit. So first you got to get yourself right, your mind. All right, set that heart right and constantly endure, praying, fasting, studying. You have to take care of your body, get on a proper diet, get into the herbs, start exercising, start moving. You know, it's another thing the apostles have been pushing because you don't know what predicament you could end up in. The next thing is your actually physical house, your wife, your children, your family. You know, you got to warn them, pray for them too, like Job did. Get them in order to the best of your ability, because we already know these women are out of order, which is why a large number of brothers don't deal with women or chose not to deal with women on this side, you know, because it's just too much, you know. It says, then say goodbye to this mortal life, right? Leave the world behind, right? That's a very spiritual movie. And in that movie, what it showed an arrangement, which that was predictive programming of pretty much of what's going on now, all right? All over the globe, you had different T attacks that took place simultaneously. Is that not what's happening now? That's happening. Those things are going to increase, all right? So forget about this life. There's no future here. It's crumbling, okay? And the way that the new year came in was an omen of how there's no future here, right? But put earthly cares away from you, throw down your human burdens, and lay aside your weak nature, which is your flesh, your emotions, you know, your mind, you know. Put all your anxieties aside and get ready to leave this world quickly, right? Because we don't know the hour of the Lord coming. But you don't want to be as a foolish virgin, you know. You have seen many evil things already, but far worse things are about to happen. So we've seen some shit, you know, and it's really hard to believe that, you know, the C-19 was 5 years ago, but here we are. That shit was 5 years ago. We've seen within that 5, even before that, many evils, okay? But now it says, but far worse things are about to happen. This goes way back to the time of Esdras, during his time in the Medo-Persian Empire, right? As the world grows older and weaker, the evils that will come upon its people will multiply. They're going to multiply. Truth will depart, and falsehood will draw ever nearer, right? Because the devil is in power. And he's got loosed a little season, and he's going to use his little season to go out and to deceive the nations, right? This is 1 Peter chapter 4. I'm going to start from the top. It says, keep fervent in your love. Fervent means to be on fire. For as much then as Amasiach has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. Meaning what? You got to get it in your mind that, this truth is about suffering. You're going to go through many trials and tribulations, because you have to suffer. And the reason why you have to suffer is because that's what's making you perfect, right? That's how Yahushua became perfect. It says in Hebrews, it made the Lord Yahushua, the captain of our salvation, perfect through sufferings, right? For he that has suffered in the flesh had ceased from sin. So that suffering is good. So that's going to cause sin to cease. It says that in Sirach, it says the fear of the Lord driveth away sins. And that's also the beginning of wisdom. Verse 2, that he should no longer live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, right? You're in the lust of men, sex, drugs, partying. You're going to be out there reveling. You're going to be at the clubs and shit. But those are death traps, and they've been death traps, man. I remember growing up, all the house parties and shit you would go to, they would get shot up and shit, man. But why are people going there? The lust of the flesh, trying to have a good time. Now, for New Year's, you have people that go out to Times Square, and they be out there all day, and they wear a damn diaper, shitting and pissing on themselves, all right, because they want to see a ball drop, right? Verse 3, for the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings. That's the spirit, all right? That article mentions revelings. Strong's G2970 Cosmos.
Strong's G 2970, Comos.
Said a nocturnal and riotous procession of half-drunken and frolicsome fellows who after supper parade through the streets with torches and music in honor of Bacchus or some other deity and sing and play before houses of male and female friends. Hence use generally feast and drinking, parties that are protracted till late at night and indulge in revelry. That's what America's about, all right? It's also spiritual that you have these stores called Party City. They're closing all their stores down. Then this happened. New Orleans is known as the what? Party City. So party's over, This is Sirach, I'm sorry, it's not Sirach. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 in the KJV. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 in the KJV, 7 verse 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. And that's that spirit of reveling, Bacchus, partying, and bullshit spirit. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. All right, so all the sufferings we go through, it's sorrowful, but that makes you better, man. That makes your heart better. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth, meaning what? Joy, smiling, all right? The Lord did say he would take away the mirth of the land. In fact, in Isaiah it says the mirth of the land is gone. All joy is darkened. Back in 1 Peter 4 and 3, for the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries. 4 and 4. Wherein they think it strange that you run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you, and that's the world. People think it's strange because we don't want to go to that New Year's party. We don't go out, for the most part, brothers are just at their crib, at their tent, at their spot, right in the scriptures, watching, praying, 1 Peter 4 and 5. Who shall give account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead? For this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are dead, that they might be judged according to men in the flesh, but to live according to the Most High in the Spirit. Verse 7. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. Read that again. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. It's time to be sober and watch unto prayer. And of course, you can have yayan. You can have those things in moderation, but you do need to be sober in the spirit.
Strong's G 4993. Sophroneo. Sophroneo.
It says to be of sound mind, to be in one's right mind, to exercise self-control, to put a moderate estimate upon oneself, think of oneself soberly, to curb one's passions. That's the time we got to be in. You got to be sober. You got to be more sober. You got to be more watchful. Okay? Because we're in the days of perilous times. This is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 14 says, wherefore he said, awake, thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Yahushua shall give thee light. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. So you got to be walking sober, all right? Abstaining from lust, using moderation, praying before you make a move, praying to Yahweh Shem Yahushua for guidance, protection, knowledge, wisdom, praying for spiritual things, praying for discernment, watching, head on the swivel. All right, the word here for circumspectly is
Strong's G 199. Akribos. Akribos.
says exactly, accurately, diligently, right? Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, right? Redeeming the time, because the days are evil. We're in some very, very evil days, very evil times. All right, and they're only going to increase. All right, and all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the Most High, shortening the days and speeding the time up. All right. But yeah, with that, I'm going to end it there. There's a lot going on. Stay vigilant, stay sober, stay prayed up. Stay strong, keep fighting. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. I want to say shalom, peace, mercy, and blessings to all the hopeful elect.